Hey guys, so I just want to insert a couple of quick little announcements in here before we get started. So first up, the Reddit TOs just wanted me to remind everybody that we are here commentating the Reddit Championship Series just to have fun and have a good time, and not necessarily to scrutinize everyone for imperfect gameplay, which I know is a little bit contrary to how I personally analyze my own gameplay, but keep in mind that these players are here to just try and enjoy some good Yu-Gi-Oh! While we are all quarantined, so definitely, just try and sit back and don't be too harsh on the players in the comments. And also, I do want to apologize that me personally, I haven't been able to get videos out to you guys in the past couple of weeks. School has been very busy for me lately, as well as a little lack of interest in the game, somewhat as a result of that, and as well as the format. But I am getting back into the game a little bit over the past couple of days, so you guys can definitely expect some more videos coming out slowly over this week and next week. And next week is my last week of school, so definitely after that, you guys can expect to see me ramp up in content once again. So don't worry, everything is going to be coming up. The BA combo is going to come up. Road to 1000 is going to be coming back, and I will be having more combo guides for you guys. But for now, sit back and enjoy a lot of commentary videos, which are a lot easier for me to record in the meantime. So thanks for sticking with me and bearing with me. And without further ado, let's just go ahead and get started.
Hey everybody, Joseph Rothschild here, aka MBT, and we are back with the fourth round of the Reddit Championship Series. This is round 4, right?
Yeah, this is definitely round 4.
Great. It's kind of bled together. We've cast a lot of Eldritch, and I'm happy to report we are not casting any Eldritch today.
Instead, it is a fantastic victory for all of mankind.
Oh, for sure. I mean, over the last couple of days on Dueling Book, I have just sat through so many Eldlixir activations. I'm very excited to see a deck that isn't playing any of them. And we have been gifted not one, but 2 decks that are aiming to blind second.
Yes, indeed. We have not invoked Shaddoll, but we have pure Shaddoll, meaning a 3 main decked mathematician, like the whole shebang, with a bunch of hand traps, versus extra deck True Draco. So this is also a blind second list, as mentioned. It has 3 Mystic Mine, 3 Super Poly, 3 evenly matched, all main decked, with the classic Amano Iwado meme of going second and breaking boards. So this should be pretty interesting to see who ends up trying to set up with a very mediocre first turn play.
I like the idea of like pure Shaddoll versus True Draco. It's like the 2015 top deck versus the 2017 top deck in 2020.
Yeah, I'm curious as to how these decks would interact, because I feel like the Shaddoll player is going to have a hard time getting a lot of value, because like Winda doesn't really do much.
Shaddoll Fusion probably never firing.
Yeah, unless if we do see Waking the Dragon side deck for the Draco player, so that's probably...
We're going to see 100%. It's going to be like Shaddoll player goes first, gets super polyed, the super polyed monster turns on Shaddoll Fusion. That's going to be
goodness.
What happens. Calling it now.
Alright, so let's go ahead and just see what happens here. I'm interested in seeing how this is going to end up playing out. So we got Bubble Blower playing this Shaddoll deck here versus Ray playing Draco. He is opting to go first. Interesting.
That is interesting. I guess Win to Pass kind of wins a lot of games this format. DD Crow main as well for the Shaddoll player. We've seen more and more of that in the last couple of days. It's kind of paid off for decks that are playing it. It's hard to find a hand trap that hits both Adamancipator and Eldritch, but Crow making a good argument for most playable hand trap in the format.
Yeah, I do think it's kind of taken the spot of Ash, just because like Ash is such low impact against, especially Adamancipator, whereas Crow at least has some value, as you said, in both of those matchups. So it's like never going to win the game by itself, but it'll help you like facilitate your game plan as far as like making sure that you like survive and get to do what you are planning to do.
Sure.
All right, so looks like
we've all been there. The hard Shaddoll Fusion going into Winda is at least like ideal for the Shaddoll player. They want to be setting up a turn 1 Winda and passing, but they want to be setting up with a card that's actually good, not Shaddoll Fusion to minus yourself.
Yeah, unfortunate there, and fusing away the DD Crow. I wonder if he actually is aware of the matchup or just really values having Dragon.
Yeah, DD Crow, pretty marginal utility against True Draco, I guess I would say.
Yeah. Alright, so Squamata setting Rush Shaddoll Incarnation, and then we're just going to set Shaddoll Dragon. And
You do that?
pass.
Squamata sends any Shaddoll card?
Yeah, sends any Shaddoll card.
Oh, broken.
It's crazy. All right, so pretty interesting top deck here. Um, there's not really any way to use Super Poly right now since you can't fuse with opponents' face down monsters with it, but we shall see. Right.
The Pot of Desires is going to turn off the super polymerization for the turn, but that's not too big of a deal, I don't think. Notably, the Ghost Ogre and Snow Rabbit, though generally a pretty bad hand trap this format, is really, really good against True Draco specifically, especially now that they're only on one copy of Diagram. If you're able to pop that sucker, the game kind of ends.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see because both of these engines are relatively recursive if they get to kind of play the long game. But that definitely gets diminished if you can hit the diagram, because again, it's at 1. So that'll pretty much hurt his grind game if he's able to find value out of that ogre there. But heritage being picked up here, and we're gonna activate desires.
Dangerous to do this before you found the diagram, but evenly matched on Ending Nightmare, really not the ideal pickups. I would consider just firing evenly matched as like Soul Taker here.
Yeah, I mean, your opponent already knows you're on Draco, so it'll be interesting to see if he ends up even keeping the window here. Oh, but it looks like we are just gonna not activate evenly.
Right, so if we get the Tribute F of Harry, we can draw a card afterwards.
All right, Apocalypse
Looks like we are
targeting
going
the
to summon
slip,
that Ignis.
and that ends up being the dragon, which will pop the heritage, but that triggers Ignis anyway. So by triggering the dragon, he can get another copy of heritage and draw 2 instead of 1. So I feel like activating dragon wasn't the best play there.
It feels like a cool little gotcha, but in fact it is not.
It kind of reminds me of like interactions between Zoo and Draco, where like if your Apocalypse target Trident, like now if they like try and Trident pop Ignis in response, then like you'll just get a free pot of greed. So
I do like the fact that it's going to go dragon popping heritage, heritage to the graveyard, heritage for 2, Ghost Ogre the heritage, and maybe that'll be it.
Yeah, the ogre hitting the heritage could
again?
end up being here. Oh, he's gonna use his normal tribute, so he's going all in on this.
Oh, I like this. So this is a soft once per turn, right?
For each copy of Ignis, yes.
So we can get another heritage if we Ghost Ogre here. Unfortunately, the heritage, I believe, is hard.
Yes, the heritage effects are hard once per turn, and we are gonna see the ogre come down here. But he, I think, just forgot to chain the Ignis there. Could have gotten Disciples for an extra draw.
That's unfortunate, especially because we want to be setting a majority of these cards. Walking into Winda's okay. You give your opponent back the Shaddoll Fusion, but if you have to Shaddoll Fusion with, or Incarnation, I suppose, if you have to be relying on the cards in your hand to win you the game as Shaddoll, you are probably not in a very good position.
Yeah, so getting back Incarnation's not bad here because it basically just creates an infinite loop with Winda. You just revive Winda, Winda get back the Incarnation, just loop it. So you can buy a lot of time.
This is one of those interactions that like you tend not to see, except for in like very specific matchups. But almost every competent deck has a loop like this, where if given infinite time, they can just like loop the same 2 resources over and over again. I'm reminded of like Silquidius and Manifestation, Thunder Dragon Fusion, and Thunder Dragon Roar. And it's really cool when you end up in these matchups where all of a sudden that's relevant, and your game plan involves like questionably decking out your opponent.
Yeah, or just trying to find that inevitability that most decks tend to have.
And more realistically, that.
Yeah. All right, so we're gonna pick up a Mathematician here, so that's not too bad. But
give a normal summon.
Yeah, this is gonna give the Draco player a lot of value over time because he's presumably just going to activate like the Shaddoll Incarnation next turn. So like Ignis is just gonna get him like so many cards. Right.
A Wendy here, and then the Wendy can summon something face down. Going for the Beast, just to cycle a couple of cards, I suppose.
Yeah, so he's definitely going to be digging.
And a pretty middling turn. Forbidden Chalice, that's an interesting main deck inclusion, but there are a lot of monster effects that people are trying to resolve this format.
Yeah, it's pretty interesting in a blind second list. It makes sense. It was better like when you had 3 diagram, because like diagram chain chalice was a thing. Same with like diagram chain cosmic. But obviously with 1 diagram that happens a lot less. Actually, let's see what he banished. I didn't actually take a look here. Oh, he did banish the diagrams, so.
Oh. Well, okay. We're gonna be playing this match on the back foot then. I just sort of like Forbidden Chalice in terms of decks that have the ability to chew through things and aim to blind second. You know, this is just one additional negate they're going to fiend.
Yeah, exactly. And we're in a pretty interesting spot here where I did mention that like the Draco cards are just going to get a lot of value over time, but so will the way that the Shaddoll player set up with like Mathematician netting him a card and Shaddoll Beast getting him more cards. So combining that with like the Reshadol loop with Winda, like he'll be able to live for a very, very long time.
There's one thing that True Draco specifically has a problem with. It is assembling any sort of aggressive game plan.
All right, so Disciples coming down here, shuffling 3. Picking up a Metaverse for the Mystic Mine. It would be great if you could get Diagram off that, but unfortunately it is banished.
Despite that, you know, Mystic Mine might be just an immediate win against Shaddoll. Depends on what this individual is playing, but you know, a deck that relies on monster effects for so much can really just absolutely lose to this card.
Alright, so Mathematician draws into Squamata.
That's a great one to discard. Wow.
Alrighty, so Shaddoll is actually not out of the game quite yet.
Then at end phase, we're going to fire off this Resh, targeting the Wendy here. I kind of like it. It's cute, but we spent so much time talking up the resource loop that is now not going to be able to be
yeah,
used.
it'll be interesting. I wonder if he's going to try and set up. Is he on the Link Shaddoll construct?
He is.
He is, yeah. So we could actually go ahead and make that. And because that Link monster is a light monster, he can actually use that to set up construct plays.
Shaddoll Construct is such a weird card. The summoning condition is miserable. It's 2 flip monsters, but the payoff is so insane. It's like a recursive fusion spell that doesn't require you to have any of the fusion spells. It triggers everything. It's just incredible.
Alright, so we're just gonna flip up everything. And those are 2 very, very good draws right here.
Wow. Okay, so Dynamiscus is a fantastic way to invalidate one of the threats from the True Draco player without triggering any graveyard effects. Ash Blossom, also pretty strong against Heritage for 3.
Yeah, and we can see that if Ray is trying to fall back on something like a Metaverse into Mine, we now have multiple ways to stop that. So that's pretty good.
Dynamiscus is hilarious in Shaddoll just because the deck kind of lacks an all-purpose removal spell. It doesn't discard for cost. It's one of those cards that just like accidentally ended up being extremely playable in this deck.
Yeah, just the versatility it has in like this specific deck, just with the interactions it has, is pretty interesting. It's pretty cool. All right, so Wendy's going to summon Hedgehog.
I'm just passing back. Says, I'm not committing to anything into 4-set back row. You do your thing.
All right, maybe he's expecting a lot of floodgates and not really thinking about like the blind second aspect, because he did win the die roll and he did choose to go first, so he's probably thinking that there's like a lot of like real back row there. But like surprisingly, there's not really a whole lot back here that will actually like hinder Shaddoll's plays.
Yeah, with a board setup of like Wendy, even super polymerization doesn't really do anything.
All right, let's see how this ends up panning out. Another super poly for turn. So
sheesh,
pretty dead here. And we are going to see a Mystic Mine being added off the Metaverse.
That's out of the bag. That is going to be possible. Might as well activate it here so that we can safely walk into all of these set monsters.
Looks like he's going to Unending Nightmare to try and pop one of his own spells to try and force the back row. But he's going to lose a lot of value there because he's just going to change the Dynamiscus. Cute. Right, yeah, so there goes the Mystic Mine, and we do get to trigger Schemata here as well.
Is that is like the unending nightmare play. It does really open him up to like a line like this, where if you have removal for the relevant spell, suddenly you're out some cards. He's going to
Interesting.
activate Ariel.
So I guess he just doesn't want the Draco player to get value out of this Disciples here, even though he only has 2 engraved at the moment.
I mean, I guess so. It does feel like trying to stop the resource loop of Heritage is kind of a fool's errand if they've got an Ignis on their side of the field.
Right. And we see Heritage drawing another Ignis, which got tributed there. And then he's just going to go into battle phase and just try and eat up some of the board here.
I think we're completely fine with Shaddoll Hedgehog, El Shaddoll Fusion. Pretty bad in this scenario. Flipping up the Wendy might potentially give us the targets necessary to pop off, but it's a bit of a long shot.
Yeah, plus double copies of Ignis. He's just going to get so many cards. And he also has a Chalice, which could end up being big. But the Shaddoll Beast being top decked makes it so that at least he can make a play.
Right, so it's Shaddoll Fusion time. We're going into Op Cologne. This is the new one. When it is summoned, it can target a face-up card on the field and negate its effects, which is kind of cool, but there's no really clean targets here.
Yeah, it'd be nice if there was a floodgate on the board, like there can be only one because Apcologne's negation is permanent, but there is nothing really that relevant at the moment to target. So he's going to activate all 3 of his effects though, chaining Beast is Chainlink 1, Apcologne Chainlink 2, and Wendy is Chainlink 3.
I think I would probably put Apcologne as Chainlink 3 to play around Ash, but maybe you're expecting like a Solemn Strike or something. There's a couple of unknowns.
Yeah, I think that if you're playing against Draco, you don't normally anticipate them playing hand traps anyway.
Mm-hmm.
And also, he says targeting Heritage, but I think they mean Disciples.
Yeah.
But yeah, not
God, it would be great to target the Heritage. So there should still be at least 1 Disciples in the deck. These Ignises, I expect, will be activating at some point this turn.
Yeah, provided that we didn't banish the other.
Banish 2 of them. There's 1.
Banished 1, and there's 2.
Okay, so the Ignises are out of targets. Well, suddenly this game became way closer.
Yeah, suddenly the infinite resources off of Ignis aren't really that infinite, because like they're all there's 4 Draco spells that are banished.
Miserable Pot of Desires.
All right, and we're just gonna we now possess the biggest monster on the field, which is pretty good. I wonder if he's going to use Chalice on his own Ignis just to beat over the Apcologne.
It's not terrible. It looks like he is. He says damage calc, and there's the Forbidden.
Alright, but now Apcologne will just be able to search anything or revive anything from grave. Oh, wait, Apcologne can't be destroyed by battle, right? Yeah.
For some reason, this card has battle protection. No idea why that is.
Yeah, I just had to stick it on there. I think that's the first time I've ever seen that come up.
It's like when you find out Boral Sword has battle protection. It's like, why?
Or Orcus Nightmare can't be destroyed by Link monsters.
Yeah.
Alright.
Okay,
so,
well, there's the best card in the deck.
Yeah, pretty good. Unfortunately, he doesn't have room to put it on the board.
And his opponent has an Ash Blossom. It's not ideal.
Alright, so we're just gonna keep chewing through the board as best we can. He is on 2 copies of the trap.
Yeah, adding the cards that it doesn't necessarily matter.
Oh boy.
My. Whoa, I don't know about that, friend.
We really out here,
for
huh?
Volcasaurus. Oh, geez. I don't think I'm that scared of Apcologne, but this individual is, and will be activating Volcasaurus's effect, overlaying 2 of probably 3 remaining monsters in the deck to destroy it.
Well,
oh, we can't Card of Demise this turn.
Nope. We are now in special summon territory.
All of a sudden, Shaddoll Fusion is really, really good.
Yeah, like, You would think that knowing the matchup, you wouldn't try and play into it, especially because like app clone, like searching Shaddoll Fusion is one of the most like basic interactions in the deck. So
It's an onboard trick, yeah. It certainly feels like the reason you play True Draco in a meta like this is because people are so focused on decks like Emancipator that you do get to dead a lot of cards in their hand. Things like the Ash Blossom aren't fantastic against a deck that aims to draw like 10 or 12 cards over the course of a turn. Things that prey on extra deck monsters, for example, aren't going to be very good against a deck that never makes them. But doing stuff like overlaying for Volcasaurus just opens up a half of your opponent's deck that's just been rotting in their hand the whole time. So all of a sudden, all these really broken cards that he had no access to are going to be just as broken as we feared.
yeah, and I think that like even though like your Ignis board won't be able to deal with app clone, you kind of just have to take it until you can draw an out because like there's no realistic way that you're gonna be dying anytime soon. I don't think so.
No, you've got tons of time. You've got ideally some ability to draw with something like Card of Demise, maybe a card like True Draco Apocalypse.
Yeah, exactly. And now Shaddoll Fusion just gonna get so much value here.
And this really feels like the end of the game. Sending to Biru. Hell, that's a sweet light target.
And then here we go. Construct and Wendy are both gonna fire off, and because we used Chalice earlier, we don't really have any way to stop this.
Oh yeah, man.
But
It's
he's
like
also playing
2015
core
all over again.
Oh man.
Yeah, I've seen the one of core in most Shaddoll, but usually not any of the competent ones, like splashing other archetypes. If you're on pure, you probably have to be on core, but the card is so bad.
Huh, interesting. So he didn't trigger Wendy. I wonder if he's actually out of targets, because there's 3 Wendy there. There's 3 Squamata I see. I see 2
Imagine
beasts.
there's a hedgehog.
Is he on 3? No, he's on 2. So
Wow, so
yeah,
he
they're
could
both
actually
engaged.
just straight up be out of targets.
I think he's just out of Shaddolls.
Well, you don't like to get to this point in the game, but by the time you do, you've likely won. With the Reshadol Incarnation and a couple of beaters on board, I think that's the case.
Alright, and we're just going to get in for a fair amount of damage. Oh, but we do have a Dark Monster on the board.
This is the first potential Super Poly that's been able to be used in this entire set. Dragostapelia is a hell of a card.
Alright, so I didn't actually think Super Poly would get a lot of value, but I suppose the Shaddoll player would have to commit eventually. So
So Construct's going to trigger getting El Shaddoll Fusion, which is hilarious. We could theoretically activate it in the battle phase to get over the Dragostapelia, but unfortunately, we don't have any Shaddolls.
yeah, so we are going to be entirely reliant on Incarnation getting back, like, I don't know, maybe a Construct to try and just like beat over like Dragostapelia. I think both
not even the
decks,
worst.
yeah, both decks have seemed to just run very, very low in engine cards, so the game state is like much more simplified at this point.
You would expect. I can't just think, would this game have been different if end phase unending? Yeah, that's a sweet target for Ghost Ogre. Unending is any spell or trap.
Yeah, well, he's gonna pop his own Disciples, I assume, to try and pop one of the
to
back
try
row.
and pop one of the back row.
Yeah.
That's cute, but I mean, honestly, how much do you really hate that? I would have liked keeping the Ghost Ogre in hand so we can Incarnation something like a Construct, and then if a removal spell sent on it, we can just fuse away.
Well, we will see. Although, to be fair, if the Unending Nightmare Disciples play hit the Incarnation, then you're just out of place altogether. So,
It's true, yeah.
all right. So
Okay,
picking up,
so that's going to be powerful later, not this second.
yeah, probably would have been nice for that really big push that last turn. So one turn too late.
Take a billion damage. And looks like we're going to Resh to try and stop the bleeding.
Yeah, and to be fair,
Construct is
Construct
so
will
strong here.
still be able to get its effect if it battles Dragostapelia. So it kind of just nullifies the attack.
How does Dragostapelia work versus...
Oh, right, it has an effect. I forgot. So yeah, you can.
The effect of this thing is insane. It's actually...
Yeah, it's an effect negation of any face-up monster as a quick effect as well. And it gets activated effects, so yeah, you can actually just beat over Construct here.
It's not like the worst thing in the world. We can just get Resh back and try it again next turn. But,
Yeah.
you know, still frustrating that you don't get to flex Construct's biggest draw.
Yeah, you could have got more value if you had just waited. Like how like fearful are you of taking 27? I'm not entirely sure.
Two set cards are Cauldron of the Old Man.
That would be something. And interestingly enough, he hasn't actually the Shaddoll player hasn't actually triggered a Dynamiscus at any point because he's had chances to.
Just there, for example.
Yeah. Right, so Demise main
Oof.
phase 2, getting hit with the Ash has been stuck in our hand for like 13 turns.
Yeah, well, that's basically the best target for it. And it looks like he's deciding not to attack the construct on the redirect. Necrofusion coming down. Oh my god, I've seen the extra deck. Please.
Yeah, we have seen it. We're not going to spoil it, but there's some interesting stuff in there.
Oh my, tell me this is how this game ends with the Necrofusion.
There is enough time, and it bypasses this order. We'll see.
This card is so slow, and this is exactly the scenario for it. Whoa, friend! Dragon Stapelia has an effect! Wait!
To be fair, it still is bigger, so it would just beat over it anyway. Oh, wow. That is pretty bad top deck.
Yeah, that's a set card for sure. Oh, he's not even setting it. He says, what are you going to do? Necrofusion me at end step?
Oh, no. Oh, no.
Oh my god. All right, so quick spellcaster count. How many are in the graveyard here?
All right, we got... Well, we just banished 2, 3, 4,
just make wind,
5...
God, that's so boring.
6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11... I count 12.
We could do it.
Oh, boy. Alright, we're just gonna banish... Alright, we're just gonna banish 5 for the Quintet Magician.
Yes! So, with this card summoned, you just get to wipe your opponent's board.
Yeah, this is the all-powerful Duel Links game ender.
God, I hate playing against this thing on mobile. It's so debilitating. You see it once every 1,000 games, and every time you do, you go, why did they put this in here?
Oh, fun fact. So, like, let's say he had another Draco Stapelia. He actually wouldn't be able to use this Super Poly because Quintet Magician can't be used as fusion material. So...
It is so cute. God, that's
is
cute.
Pretty funny. He's just gonna scoop.
So
Wow.
that seems like a game that could have ended several different times in several different ways, but honestly, I'm pretty glad it dragged out long enough for us to see Quintet Magician.
Yeah,
That's a hell
we
of a
did not
card.
think that that was ever going to hit the board, but the conditions were very appropriate, you know. The Desires banishing a lot of the Draco spells, this just being a very slow matchup in general, and we got to see a lot of the very back and forth grindiness.
Maybe I was wrong about this, right? Like, Eldritch is a deck in the format. It's possible that you get to that same point in a significant amount of your matches. If this person's next leveling me, I apologize. You're the one who's XO, I'm not.
Alright, so we are going to see Draco forcing Shaddoll to go first, which now kind of telegraphs the blind second nature of his deck. And
It's a fine open. Super Poly, good card.
yeah. And for Shaddoll, it's it's a Shaddoll deck, so...
More of the same. We're going to set Squamata pass. Hell yeah. Not committing to the Shaddoll Fusion turn 1 this time because no reason to go into Winda.
Definitely correct there. Alright. Ooh, Duality picking up not the greatest cards he already has access to.
I mean, I'd pick Duality here. I've Dualitied for Duality. I'm not ashamed.
Alright, looks like he's just gonna take another Apocalypse. And here we go, Desires again. Let's see if this one is going to burn him as badly as the last one.
That was kind of choice, actually.
Alright, so banishing their Desires. Waking
He boarded
Chalice.
into Waking, please.
Mystic Mind, Order, Heritage, Emanon, Disciples, Duality, and Metaverse. Okay, so this is a significantly better Desires than the last one.
It didn't banish 2 of the same named spell here. No diagram in the banished pile. A bunch of really powerful utility one-ofs, things like Imperial Order, but if you weren't going to see them, you weren't going to see them.
Yeah, it's there are one-ofs anyway. You know, just have to be lucky and draw them, but it doesn't always happen.
two draws were pretty terrible, but I could see Card of Demise coming down, like not the next turn, but the one after.
Yeah, it'll be a very, very strong like comeback card if you want to just like trade 1 for 1.
Oh, what a
Ooh,
rip.
very, very
That's
good
so
here.
powerful. And of course, Lightning Storm does not require you to have no cards. It requires you to have no face-up cards.
Indeed. And we're going to Chain Apocalypse to grab Ignis on board. And he's opting not to use Apocalypse's graveyard effect.
All right, now we are going to go ahead and use Ignis's, I expect. Going to get something like a Heritage.
Or, I guess Disciples is fine because he's going to have 3 after this gets destroyed.
Right. Well, by the hard Shaddoll fusion, we could go into Opcalone here. We could go into Winda.
Looks like it is Opcalone.
Is the pick.
And he's putting it in the EMZ, probably because he wants to link it away for Gravity Controller later.
I do like the Ariel send here. He's going to be able to banish the 3 Dracos and turn off the Disciples that he just saw added to the hand. That's kind of cute.
Yeah, pretty good here. And this is pretty meaningful damage in a matchup as slow as we've seen this be.
Oh, yeah. I honestly, with the Disciples in hand, I can't believe he didn't add Heritage.
Yeah, he already had it, actually. I forgot about that, too. So, yeah. But luckily, his hand is pretty stacked. So...
Oh, we'll draw our way out of this one. Oh, that's a good pickup. We're going to set 4, fire off Card of Demise.
And
no Ash in the hand this time.
Oh, boy.
Oh, those are 3 really good ones. So Terraforming first, we'll get Diagram. Diagram will eat the Ghost Ogre, and then we'll just fire Mystic Mine and hope for the best.
Well, this is about as good of a script as you can write.
Oh, yeah. Yep, there's the Ghost Ogre, and there's the Mystic Mine. He says, "No, activate the Heritage, my guy!"
Well, it doesn't matter if you can just initiate fun gameplay and sit here.
I love Yu-Gi-Oh! Oh, I love Yu-Gi-Oh!
Man, what a great time.
Telly. And around Lightning Storm here. Solemn Judgment. Oh, that's got to be the end of the game. Not even setting it. This really is fun Yu-Gi-Oh! Okay, evenly matched theoretically could do something at some point. El Shaddoll Fusion. Okay. So if we send the Shaddoll Dragon to the graveyard, we can do nothing.
Yeah, because we'll still possess a monster. And...
oh my god, I hate
oh,
this
wait.
card.
Is he going to knowledge away the Winda?
Oh, wait, that's adorable. Wait, that's so heads up.
Ooh.
Like
and then he can evenly.
Wait, that's like actually extremely strong.
Man, not setting the judgment there might prove to be costly.
What he's keeping this last zone open for, he's got everything.
Yeah, there we go.
Whoa, that's so strong. Battle phase, evenly matched. Oh, you can activate the Winda effect too because you don't control monsters. Wow, that is just killer.
Man.
He's lost True King's Return there. Is that what he kept?
Yeah, he kept Return, but he doesn't have any monsters in grave. He banished Disciples, Mine, another Disciples, and a Desires. So I guess he didn't really have good targets to keep anyway.
We've got 1 Disciples remaining, 1 Heritage remaining. We've got 1 Apocalypse remaining, provided he's on 3. All of a sudden, it's going to be really hard for the True Draco player to win the game in a matchup that he had no business losing.
Yeah, what seemed like a very, very ideal game state just turned around on a dime. And what's funny is that, like, in Shaddoll probably wouldn't have been able to out that because they don't play, like, Spellbook of Knowledge or anything. So, paying dividends here if you're playing Pure in this particular case.
Alright, just setting all these. Man, that skill drain just looks terrible. This is a weird game state that True Draco specifically can get in where they have all these cool cards that don't remove monsters that aren't activating their effects.
Yeah, and all of a sudden now you're on a very, very real timer where just attacking with main deck level 4 lower monsters just wins the game.
Telly at end phase. What are we doing with this? Getting a Wendy. Oh my god, she's a psychic. And then
we're
Shaddoll fusing it away. We're going to be able to dragon one of these set cards. Whoa.
ooh. All right, so he hit the card that Draco decided to keep off of the evenly match there.
I do like that. Unfortunately, that will be able to destroy a card on the field. But that is, whoa, that's a don't go for Aquilone, my guy. It's going to be able to add whatever. Just flipping these two monsters wins the game, right?
Yeah, surely. Like he would have
Lead us
to.
solemn.
He would like have to judgment the summon of Beast, putting him down to what is that 1850, and then when
Normal
he would be
Hedgehog
15.
wins the game.
But yeah, just normal summon Hedgehog, and that's game.
It's miserable.
Or Squamata, either way it works. Yeah, I don't really think that there's any way that Draco can, like, Draco's hands are tied at this point. It's on this Shaddoll player to kind of just like overthink it.
One way to overthink it would be sending a Squamata, then using that Squamata to send a dragon, and then using dragon to pop waking the dragon.
Oh boy, but he does have Ash for waking, so he has at least has that.
An Ash waking?
Yeah, because it can spell him from the main deck.
That's so stupid! This card gets worse and worse every time I read it.
Man. Well, looks like we are just going to attack for exact lethal. Ouch.
What set? Good question. 4 cards, none of them did it.
Yeah, nothing proactive.
Oh boy.
And
yeah, I can't help but feel that the true Draco player just didn't manage their resources as effectively as the Shaddoll one.
Yeah, and he only saw one monster that entire game, but like,
Purple.
even still, like mine could have definitely got him there if he had just set the judgment. So pretty unfortunate there. Like even though like the mine would have self-destructed, he would have kept all of his cards, so he would have still been in like a fine spot, I think.
Well, that is going to be it for round 4. Round 5 will be up shortly. I believe the games have already been played, so it's just going to be a matter of us deciding on what is going to be the matchup. If you have any decks for the new format that you are interested in seeing, give us a shout out, and we'll see if we can find anyone playing them. Otherwise, we're going to pick the top tables, which is, I think, probably just exclusively Eldritch at this point, wouldn't you say?
Yeah, probably like Eldritch and like Adamantipator, like nothing surprising at this point. But yeah, leave suggestions.
Players meta.
Yeah, be sure to leave suggestions in the comments if you want to see anything in particular, and we'll do our best to try and find replays that are at least moderately entertaining.
I had fun on this one. This was kind of choice.
Yeah, this one was a lot like more exciting than I thought it would be, considering it was like Draco. I'm like, oh man, how fun can a Draco replay be? But no, this is pretty good.
Walking into this, I had no expectation that we would actually see Quintet Magician resolve.
Oh yeah, definitely. That was absolutely insane.
It was a little bit poggers. I feel comfortable saying.
All right.
All right. So see you in round 5.
Take care, guys.